poor job of closing the third quarter and not a good enough start to the fourth quarter. Turned it into, a real back and forth game, and they executed down the stretch, and we did not execute well enough. So credit them for fighting hard, hanging in. We got a pretty good lead in the third quarter, but didn't do a good enough job of attacking, but also avoiding miscues. So difficult loss. So we'll watch it tomorrow, and there are a lot of things we can do better.
Rick, just 42 points for you guys in the second half. Why do you think your offense stalled to the extent that it did?
Well, they had a lot of their better defenders in the game in the second half, and that makes it harder. And so, you've got to grind defensively to get rebounds, and there's a different element of grinding when you're going against their better guys. And so we're going to have to do better in a lot of those situations. And there were times we got good shots and just simply didn't hit them, and that's all part of this.
Towns had 20 in just that fourth quarter. What went wrong defending him in that frame?
Didn't do a good enough job. He's got a hair trigger, and you think you're close enough to him, and he just flicks the wrist. So he hit some threes. He got to the rim. He played great down the stretch.
Aaron obviously goes down with the ankle injury in the third, comes back. I mean, what was kind of his situation, basically? What did he have to do to work through it? What kind of, shape is he in coming out of that? And I guess how much did that kind of knock everybody back on their heels a little bit when a guy like Aaron goes out?
Yeah, it certainly is a factor. He went back to the training room, got it looked at, believe he got it retaped. He was doing things in the hallway to get moving again. And then I got the word that he was good to go back in, that he was moving without limitation at that point in time. And so rather than wait, decided the best thing to do is get him back in there so that, he didn't stiffen up anymore. And then, down the stretch, he seemed to move okay to me, just from the eye test standing there, but I haven't studied the film yet. And obviously we'll know more tomorrow.
What was your read on just how the team reacted to him being out, basically? I mean, it seemed like there was obviously a few minutes they had to come back in part because of that. Did it take everybody else a while to get used to him not being there and him being out?
Well, I don't know what exact time was it that he got
6:06
of the third?
6:06 of the third.
Of the third, yeah. I mean, you lose a guy like that, it affects your ability to close a quarter, so maybe there's a factor there, but look, we're not going to make excuses. I mean, we've come back from big leads. We lost a lead today. Regardless of who's out there, we got to be able to attack better and do the things to maintain it and finish the game. We just simply did not execute as well as we needed to.
They obviously played a lot more guys than they usually do. It went a lot deeper into that into their benches. How did you see those guys change things? Seeing some players that you haven't really seen very much in the series.
Yeah, McBride got 3 fouls in the first quarter, I guess, and so that took him out of it. So, I don't know what their plan was coming into the game, but the guys that came in, they battled, they battled and did a very good job. And so, we gotta circle the wagons and do better.
Rick, obviously, you all defended Jalen Brunson better overall this game. What do you think led to that? And also towards the end, what do you think allowed him to kind of get over the hump still a little bit with 6 points over the last 77 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, he's a walking basket. He's just hard to guard. We're trying to make it hard on him. I don't know the entire sequence of everything down the stretch. He made one tough runner. That's a wrong-footed contested two. I mean, it's a shot he makes. But look, they made plays and we didn't. when it got to that point in the fourth quarter. So, give them credit, and we gotta do better.
Rick, specifically in that third quarter, what do you think allowed you guys to get a little out of kilter offensively in terms of not just running your offense, but trying to find Brunson, trying to get him into movement situations, or trying to get him, because he has 4 fouls coming into the quarter. What kind of got away from you guys offensively?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know exactly. I do know that when we started building a lead and the crowd got into it, things got a little crazy. We had some back and forth kind of, nutty plays with some turnovers and stuff like that. So much of playoff basketball is doing the basics really well, and in those instances, being able to keep a level of poise along with aggression. And so, I'll look closer at it, tonight. But clearly, we didn't do well enough in that area.